The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Raider Nation, ahoy, what's going on? This is your new captain speaking, the irate pirate himself, Raider Nation Jason. And you know what? All my friends always ask me, dude, you love YouTube, you in league with the Lost Blurs. Why don't you ever do a Raiders show? You know what? I'm going to start doing one now. A little background on myself. I'm actually from Memphis, Tennessee. I've been a Raiders fan since about 88. I was born in 84. And I'm talking about since the days of Bo Jackson, the latter days of Marcus Allen, Howie Long, Tim Brown, like all those guys, since Tecmo Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I've been a huge Raiders fan. First game I ever saw, the Raiders got into a huge brawl on the field, and they won the game. But when they went to commercial, I remember seeing the Darth Vader helmets and the spikes and the skulls and the voodoo mask. I was instantly hooked. I've been a Raiders fan ever since. So yeah, you see I got my 3 Super Bowl rings up here, looking to add more to that. I got cool effects and stuff on the wall, but we'll get to all that later. I'm a straight up like 6 o'clock Raiders fan, and this is all we're going to do on this show. Talk about stuff that happens throughout the week. I'm going to recap every game. I'm going to give a preview to every game and some stuff to look forward to throughout the season. Any free agent signings, any trades, any rumors. We'll get to all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing we got going on today, we got 2 new Raiders signings. The first one we have is Desmond Trufant. He's a 6'1", 190-pound corner. Former first-round pick out of Washington in 2013. He's a Pro Bowler in 2015. He's played for Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, and recently New Orleans. He signed with New Orleans after Chicago cut him from training camp. He's had 3 tackles and 1 pass defended this season before he was just released. So now you got Hayward, Hobbs facing. When he comes back, you got Mullen, and now you got a vet like Desmond Trufant. He has depth. He has skill upgrade, especially since Amik Robertson and Damon Arnett a little iffy. So he definitely adds some veteran leadership to the team. I've always liked Trufant when he was in Atlanta. Dude's always been good, so I'm really looking forward to some good things from him. And also we signed DJ Fluker. DJ Fluker, 6'5", 350-ish pounds. He's an offensive tackle. Kind of young guy, 30 years old, out of Alabama. Another first-round pick, 2013. Has played for San Diego, the Giants, the Seahawks, the Baltimore Ravens, and recently the Dolphins. He's fresh off a 6-week suspension and meniscus surgery. He was released by the Dolphins. He started 8 games for the Ravens last season. So if he's healthy, he's going to be a very healthy upgrade. He's looking to play right tackle with Leatherwood struggling and Brandon Parker not being the best substitute right now. Just really pretty much being like a body when we need that right there. And he's just not really the best answer right now. So hopefully DJ Fluker, we can get him in, get him healthy, get him up to speed, and go ahead and get him in the game. We can use all the offensive tackle help, all the offensive line help we can use. I'm not going to say Leatherwood is a bust. I'm not really into calling rookies bust like that. But he's had some struggles in the protection game. He's really had some struggles in the penalties game. So hopefully he can get that under control and we get this ship back righted with him. But the interesting thing is I know he adds depth. He's, good for a skill upgrade. The veteran leadership, I question because the announcement on his suspension was never really made public because he wasn't signed with anybody at the time of his suspension. So I don't really know what his suspension is about. If you know what it was about, please comment down below and let me know what his suspension was about. But I couldn't find anything on it. It just says that, he was just gone for a second and he got suspended. So there you have it. Looking to get these 2 guys in our team on the offensive line, in the defensive backfield to give us a really healthy upgrade. Our defense has been doing really, really well. It's for like the highlight of our team, and that hasn't happened in so long. So I'm really looking forward to some good things from our defense. This Sunday, Allegiant Stadium at 3:05 Central Time, we're going to against the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 3rd in the NFC least because all those guys are losers over there, even though the Cowboys are doing pretty good. They come in with a 2-4 record, fresh off that loss to Tampa Bay. They only lost by 6 points at home. And plus they got Jalen Hurts. I really liked him. I liked him in college. I think he's an elusive back. I think he has the potential to be really, really good in this game. I hate the term dual threat quarterback, but I do think he's a well-rounded talent, and he's going to be pretty good. He comes into this game with 1,480 yards on the season, with 4 interceptions and 8 strikes to the end zone. But what's more dangerous is in 6 games he has 300 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. Now we did really good against a quarterback similar to him. We went against Lamar Jackson in week 1, being able to contain that scrambling quarterback, or at least make it to where if he's going to beat us, he's going to have to beat us with his feet and not through the air. His number 1 target is going to be Devontae Smith, the 10th overall pick out of Alabama. 345 yards, 1 touchdown on the season, but he is averaging 13.2 yards per reception. So there's something to look out for, to be a good test to see who they put on him. If it's going to be Hayward, if it's going to be Trufant, which they'll probably just like swap him out with Amik Robertson, probably give him some time. Nate Hobbs, who has emerged, is the man lately. You know what I'm saying? He's probably one of the highest rated rookies. We'll get to it a little bit later. But they also come into this with a rookie head coach with Nick Sirianni. He's having some problems, getting that offense rolling, getting that defense rolling as well. It's kind of hard when you're a rookie head coach and you've never really had head coaching experience. Some of the younger guys are really knocking out the park. Your McVays, they're doing their thing, but that's not for everybody. He's a former offensive coordinator for Indianapolis. So take from that what you will. Like I said, they do have talent on both sides of the ball. Fletcher Cox is still out there at defensive tackle. So he's going to be somebody to look for. He's always been disruptive in the pass and in the run game. So hopefully if we put 2 hats on him, maybe we can divide and conquer on that. So that'd be something to look forward to. Now, on to our team, because this is what I like to talk about. I love talking about the Raiders. I can talk Raiders football all day long. So luckily this season has something to talk about. I'm going to start off with our leader, Captain Carr. No matter how you feel about him, I've always been a Derek Carr fan. Very high personality, very high skill set. Hasn't always had the best backing, the best surroundings with him. That goes for talent. That goes for coaching staffs. We'll get to that much later. But he's always done what he can with what he had. You know what I mean? And although we saw flashes in that 2016 season, we hoping we can see something similar to that this season, because he looks to be on a hell of a tear. He's going to come into this game with 1,946 yards. That's best for second in the league. That's good enough for second in the league among active quarterbacks right now. He has 4 interceptions, which I'm going to put an asterisk next to 3 of those. But he does have 4 picks. But he has 10 strikes to the end zone. Now, last Sunday versus the Broncos, he looked a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed, and he kind of sort of has this gunslinger mentality starting to come in. You know what I mean? He knows he can make these throws. He knows he has the weapons to get those throws there, and it looks like he's starting to utilize them. Henry Ruggs is starting to emerge as one of our top targets, outside the wall. So that's going to be really special to watch, to see if Derek Carr can continue this with different leadership that isn't so pressured around him on the sidelines. Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. And this has been one of those things I've been watching very carefully. I've seen a lot of people in Raider Nation start bashing Josh Jacobs, but understand something. The guy's been hurt, like really hurt. He's not injury prone, but the foot, the ankle, it's one of those things. If you're a bell cow back and the legs aren't working, it just is what it is. But when he is healthy, he is dynamic. They have combined for 6 touchdowns this season. Josh Jacobs looked great against the Broncos. He was creating some great, he was looking at the lane. His field vision is not left. His ability to create that initial contact and keep on going and gain a couple of extra yards is still there. Josh Jacobs' skill set is through the roof. The sky's the limit for him. I hope we do not give up on Josh Jacobs, if he has a few more injuries down the line. But Kenyon Drake, 2 of those touchdowns out of that 6 come from Kenyon Drake. One has come through on the ground, which we saw against the Broncos. But interestingly enough, Kenyon Drake actually has 177 receiving yards and another touchdown through the air. So Kenyon Drake, they're learning how to use that Jacobs and Drake like backfield together. That tandem can be really special when you have 2 backs that have a unique skill set like that, and you can use in the game at the same time. They're getting a lot more creative with the play calling. Greg Olsen is doing a better job of opening up the playbook and taking a few more chances. But of course, Coach Bisaccia is still a special teams coach at heart. So he knows when to take those gambles on fourth down. Hopefully we'll see him take one or two this Sunday against the Eagles, a couple of fourth and short situations, just to kind of get the team rolling and let them know, hey, I'm here to gamble too. I'm here to play ball. I'm here to win, not just get leads and sustain games, which is one of the downfalls of Jon Gruden's game. So really looking forward to that. Now, Henry Ruggs and Edwards, since the first game, the wall has kind of been shut down. They've been putting 2 and 3 hats on him. They've been shading him with man and zone. So it's kind of hard to get the ball to Waller. When he gets the ball, he does what he does. He is, in my opinion, still the #1 tight end in the game, and it's not even close. But what's really emerged, because I always have a problem with having your tight end being your #1 weapon, Ruggs and Edwards have emerged as legitimate threats in this league. Check this out. Henry Ruggs, on only 20 receptions, has 445 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 22.3 yards per reception. That's first in the league. Okay? That's an elite stat. You know what I mean? Like receptions, yards per reception is pretty big. Edwards, who Carr promised would have a breakout year, some breakout games, is also averaging a high number at 20.2 yards per reception, which is good enough for third in the league. So of the top 3 receivers, if you're just going by receiving yards per catch, we have 2 of the top 3 in the league. So you can't say he's just checked down Carr now. He is putting the ball out there. He's letting Renfro, Ruggs, and everybody make their plays as long as the offensive line is holding. They seem to be doing a pretty good job. So I'm really looking forward to see what our offense is going to bring to an Eagles defense that hasn't looked stellar in the past couple of weeks. And what our defense, which is what I'm about to talk about, can do to their offense. Mad Max Crosby comes into this game with 5 sacks, 21 pressures, which is first in the league. It's top in the league. And he also has 25 quarterback hits. Is Mad Max making a run for Defensive Player of the Year? I think so. If he can keep up this tear, because you have Yannick on the other side, who also has 2 sacks on the season. Yannick Ngakoue, what he is providing and what he is giving to this team cannot be overshadowed. He doesn't have the stellar numbers. He doesn't have the high number of sacks. But I dare you to watch these games play by play on our defense. A lot of these sacks are taking place because they have to also try to double team Ngakoue as well. So it's coming off is Mad Max is getting like the star stats, but Ngakoue is doing everything to lay that groundwork to make sure that those sacks and that defensive penetration is happening. Yannick Ngakoue has become invaluable to this defensive line, and I hope he is a Raider and he stays at this high level for as long as he can play. So I'm really happy about that. Also looking at the contributions with Perryman, Denzel Perryman, Phylon, Quentin Jefferson, Thomas, and I'm going to tell you somebody else who has emerged as people started to say he was a bust. And when they interviewed him last year, he was like, look, I'm not a bust. I just don't understand the offense. I don't understand the defense. There's too many plays. There's too much going on. It is what it is. And that's Corey Littleton. Corey Littleton has been all over the field. As far as a linebacker, not saying he's like stellar Pro Bowl status, but he has stepped in and he has stepped up. And he has done a lot more than he did last season. He's on the field a lot more. He's breaking up passes. He's run stopping. He's stopping in the pass game. He's doing everything. He's the Corey Littleton that we thought we drafted a couple of years ago. And he's becoming that player, that staple in the defense that doesn't make a ton of noise, but the noise he does makes, the noise he makes is rather the big stops that we need. So he's doing exactly what we need him to do. So keep up the work out there, Corey Littleton. People never gave up. You know, real Raiders fans, we never gave up on you. We just need another defensive coordinator. We all knew that. Going to our defensive backfield, Brandon Faison, hey, he has stepped up. I'm not a mega huge fan of Amik Roberts or Damon Arnett. Possibly both of those could be placed on the trading block with Cleve Farrell. And maybe get us a couple of picks, maybe get us a player or something like that. But he stepped up, and I want to say something. This hit he laid down to stop this first down, he zeroed in on the ball, put his helmet right on the ball, knocked it free. He also was responsible for an interception. He's going to be very good in Gus Bradley's defensive scheme. He knows what he's doing. He's a plug-and-play player. This is a plug-and-play defense. He's going to be really good. His skill set, I'm really looking forward to see how he's going to be back there. With another person I'm really high on right now is Nate Hobbs. Hobbs is the 6th highest graded rookie of all the rookies to come out of this class in 2021. He has become a knockout corner. He is a hard hitter. He's a ball hawk. He has a huge skill set, nice body frame. He can match up in the slot. He is a slot defender. But we've seen him have to play on the outsides as well due to our shifting injuries that we have in our secondary. So I'm going to tell you that right there. Nate Hobbs, dude, you get an extra salute from the captain because you have stepped up. You have showed out. You have done everything we needed you to do. You have been everything we needed you to be in just a short amount of time. So we appreciate that from Nate Hobbs. Also, speaking of Defensive Player of the Year, Casey Hayward Jr., is he making a play for Defensive Player of the Year? 237 snaps in the NFL, no touchdowns allowed. Okay, that's good enough for first in the league. He has been targeted 23 times. He's only been caught, they've only caught 9 balls on him for 90 yards. Okay, no touchdowns in 6 games. He's trying to make a play for Defensive Player of the Year. And damn it, I think he can do it. They're putting their best receivers. Well, we're putting him on their best receivers. He is defending passes. He is locking down routes. He's jamming out the line. He is everywhere we need him to be when we need him to be there. You got to think in 6 games, usually guarding their best receiver, he's only given up 9 catches for 90 yards and no touchdowns. And 237 snaps? There's got to be some kind of a record. Max Crosby called him the GOAT on Twitter. I don't know about that, but he's definitely stepped up in this defense and been something that we've been missing for a very long time. And that's an honest, scary presence for receivers on our defensive side of the ball. So I really like what he's stepped up and stepped into. I appreciate what he's done for this game. He's a vet. He's an all-pro. What else can really be said about that? Now, I'm really thinking about when he comes back, Trayvon Mullen comes back, you'll have Mullen, you'll have Hayward, you'll have Hobbs in the slot, okay? Then you got Abram who stepped up. He was cut down all the way on his penalties, his reckless play. And then we got Trayvon Merrick, who's the number one, to me, the best safety that came out of the draft. He's been one of the best safeties this year and has started to already solidify himself with his hard hits, his passes deflected, with his interception in the last game, is a true, honest, genuine threat in the backfield to lock down that back door whenever offenses try to go over the top. He was the highest rated safety coming out of TCU. Now we see why. It sucks that, I guess for him, it sucks that he fell far in the draft because of why. You know, they say character issues, whatever the case is. But I'm glad he landed on our ship. So, man, you get an extra salute from the captain, too. I appreciate what you're doing, Trayvon. We see you out there. Now, this wouldn't be my first show if I didn't address the Gruden emails. Where do I start? First off, this is probably the best place to start. I'm one of those people that actually happen to like Jon Gruden. I've never said he was a dynamic coach. I always thought that he was overrated as a coach. I thought he was very good. I thought he was really good his first run with the Raiders. And then he inherited a team, which people say is Tony Dungy's team, but Tony Dungy with that same team couldn't get them over that hump. Keyshawn Johnson even said he came in with a different energy that pushed him over the hump to get them to win that Super Bowl. And of course, he rolled those laurels off into the sunset where he's currently seeing himself now. This isn't scripted. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just firing straight from the hip. I was a Jon Gruden fan, man. I was a Chucky, the crazy faces and acting crazy on the sidelines. And, you know, whenever we would win, he would run to the black hole and he would clap hands and he's giving away, you know, hats and articles of clothing. I was a huge Jon Gruden fan. Not the best coach, not the best leader of men, but for what the Raiders are and our attitude and that mystique around us, he was one of the people that I think was a good fit for the job. Even though his play calling was a little prehistoric, some of his ways of carrying games and executing play calling was a little outdated. But there was just something about Jon Gruden that if you were a real Raiders fan, you really, really liked. And then came the first set of emails, the DeMaurice Smith emails, when he's making the Michelin tire comments about the lips. And Tim Brown is saying what he always says, that about people lying to rubber lips, or whatever the case is. I thought that was disappointing. I thought it was very immature. But we all belong to a club, the inner circle of boys or girls, or whatever you classify yourself as. We all belong to that club where we say things, and we do things, and we wouldn't want the public to know that we have these feelings, or we have these views, or we even think these things for fun. However, there's some views that kind of step over a line that I don't even step over. I'm a Pirate myself. I'm more Raiders fan than a lot of Raiders fans that I know. One of those diehard, we're down 100 points in the fourth quarter and I'm still cheering like we can win the game. I'm one of those Raiders fans. It was very disappointing to see a coach that I liked saying things like that. And so it caused me to lose a lot of faith in what happened. And it started to chip away already those feelings I had towards Jon Gruden about him being a phony or a false, or, like I said, just being an overrated coach. He has made slight improvements to the team. He's made a lot of, like, digressions to the team as well, as far as roster moves, as far as play calling, as far as just things that have stymied the team over the past couple of years, especially with that contract that you came in with. And then Monday night, which I thought, for the league, I want to send a special middle finger to the league, because you waited until the 10-year anniversary of Al Davis's death to release this. It's almost like me going to the cemetery to visit my mom on the 10-year anniversary of her passing, and my manager calling me and firing me on the spot while I'm at the cemetery grieving for, remembering and having that time for my mom. So I thought that was in terrible taste with the league. Which is why Mark Davis believes this was a hit job. We'll get into that in possibly another episode as I do a little bit more research on it. But then Monday comes and Gruden resigns, and out of these 650,000 emails, they read these few emails from Jon Gruden, who wasn't a part of the investigation, but that's neither here nor there. And they see some of these views that he's having and some of the things that he's saying, and I'm not going to repeat some of the things that he said. Just research it yourself. It's out there. And when he resigned, I was shocked, but I wasn't surprised. There's a boys club that a lot of players always talked about existed, and this is the first major domino to fall in what's going to be a lot of people feeling the backlash and the heat from this situation. It sucks so much that a coach I really rallied behind is that kind of guy. On the other end, I'm a Raiders fan. You know what I mean? They're disparaging his views towards women, his views towards people in the LGBTQ community who are, I have it that are family members and friends and things like that, and close people. So to know that that's how he feels and that's how he views is very disappointing. It's beyond immature. But I think all things can be forgiven in time and with effort on his part. But it sucks, overall. I do think the right move was made. I don't think he belongs around football right now. We just look at the diversity of the Raider Nation. Amy Trask being the first lady who, in a high position of power right under Al Davis, to Art Shell being the first black coach of the modern era, to Tom Flores being the first, Latin American head coach and Super Bowl winner, to Carl Nassib being the first openly gay player in the NFL, and an active gay player in the NFL roster. The Raiders have always been trailblazers, and Al Davis has always been a trailblazer into opening up doors to everyone. Al Davis was one of the first major coaches to go to HBCUs and to honestly scout, black talent. You know what I mean? and not just the touted, people who are coming out of these high Alabama and Clemson and all these high profile schools. He went and saw talent. He just looked at them as people, to win his team games. They were all members on the ship. They were all a team. And Al Davis, the first Maverick, who has probably made more enemies in this league than any other executive in the league, would have been so disappointed in Jon Gruden. And I think one of the things that hurt Mark Davis the worst is knowing that Jon Gruden is also his friend. Derek Carr even spoke about how disappointed he was. And he ran over to, I think they actually had a meeting, like he ran over to his house and he talked to him. He talked to his family. He offered his, his uplifting and whatever he can. It's the kind of guy Derek Carr is. But like I always say, I support everyone who rocks the shield until you don't. Jon Gruden is no longer a member of the Raiders due to his positions. He's no longer a member of the NFL. And so it is what it is. No more Chucky talk from me. You know what I mean? No more the Gruden and all that other kind of stuff. But what's very interesting is I'm looking at how we were playing at such a high level. And don't get me wrong, the Chargers just had our number. The Chargers did exactly what they came in. They had a great game plan, and they did exactly what they were trying to do. But what's interesting is Jon Gruden actually held a team meeting with the Raiders before the whole thing went down. He let them know what was in the emails and what was pretty much about to happen. And Josh Jacobs, in so many words, I'm not going to try to quote him or anything, but he pretty much said he lost the team. You have black men in there who Jon Gruden was talking about the Obama administration, and he was also talking about people who kneel for the anthem should be fired and things of that nature. So you have black men in there who felt bad. You had Carl Nassib, who has made brothers out of these men. To see the disparaging words that Jon Gruden was using, he had to take a day off. You know what I mean? These guys are his brothers now. And just how he feels about these people rally around each other. And so it's wild that Josh Jacobs would pretty much say that he lost the locker room, that people didn't want to play for him. If you look at some of the routes run on that game with the Bears, they were giving up on routes. You know what I mean? They weren't really trying to penetrate towards the quarterback. They weren't hitting holes. They were dropping passes. They didn't look like they were showing how they felt about the Jon Gruden emails. They were showing right here, we don't agree with it and we're not rocking with him. You know what I mean? And that was their message to the league, that we don't agree with it and we want him out of here too. And when he was out, Coach Versace's in, who from what I understand is one of the most well-respected people in that whole building, the team rallied around him. They came out and played, honestly, like Derek Carr probably had his best game of the season. You know what I mean? Josh Jacobs had his highest rushing amount of the season, it was only 53 yards. But, he did his thing. You know what I mean? The team had better energy. There's actually a quote that Josh Jacobs was pretty much saying, it's different energy on the sidelines. You don't come in and after a bad play, the inevitable bad play, you're not getting cussed out. You're not, being belittled on the sidelines. It's like a more open and free atmosphere. The offensive players were jumping off their seats when the defensive players made a good play. They were rallying around Coach Versace, but more importantly, they rallied around each other. And that's what we're supposed to do as Raiders. You know what I mean? We are the nation. We are the only nation. We are the Raider Nation. And we showed that. So to the people out there saying that win we had versus Denver was for Jon Gruden, no. The loss we had against the Bears, that game was for Jon Gruden. That win was for the Raider Nation and all the things that we have looking forward to. So I'm really looking forward to this thing. I'm really looking forward to going forward. Like I said, every other couple of days, I'm going to try to drop content to let y'all know new updates with the Raider Nation, previews for the game. I watch every single game play by play, so I'll be giving reviews. I'll be having friends who bring in their expert knowledge from different teams, different Raiders fans from around the country, and just see what we can do. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to this. I'm jumping on the ship with y'all. I hope this is going to be really fun. After this hopeful win against the Eagles in Allegiant Stadium, we got a bye week coming up. After that bye week, I'm looking forward to some injuries getting better. The return of Trayvon Mullen. I was happy to see Marcus Mariota on the sideline. That was a breath of fresh air. And then we had the Giants after our bye week, which they're in the NFC least. They're not looking too good this season either. But then we had the Chiefs. Those are three bridges we'll cross when we get to them. But for this first show, I want to introduce myself. I am Raider Nation Jason. I am on the seas. I'm sailing with y'all. We not walking the plank. We going down with the ship. Whatever the Raiders seem to do. So Raider Nation, I love y'all. Let these autumn winds blow. I'll see you next time.